The beauty of going on a cruise is you get to do what you want when you want to do it, and we all vacation differently. And I've realized there are a few things on Royal Caribbean that a lot of people love, and I just can't personally stand. So today I'm sharing my list of things that I just won't be doing again ever up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I love reading all the cool things that everybody loves doing on a cruise, whether it's here on our YouTube channel, people posting in the comments below our video, it's on the Royal Caribbean Blog message boards, maybe it's on Facebook, maybe it's an email somebody sent to me. Regardless, I love getting feedback from readers about how they cruise. I love learning about other things that people are doing on cruise ships, and that leads me to try some of these things myself. And in my years of cruising with Royal Caribbean, I've learned there's definitely some things that I love about cruising and things I want to do every single time. And there are some things that I do and I'll never do it again. And more to that point, there are some things that I will purely on principle not do, not because I don't think there isn't an appeal to it, but because me personally, I just can't see why I'd want to do it again. It's just not my style, essentially. And that's just kind of the way that I like to cruise. Everyone cruises differently. I get it. But I wanted to share some things because I was on a recent cruise and a friend wanted to go to one of the shows. And I said, I will never go to that show because it is just not for me. I've tried them every time and every time I regret it. So I've marked that off my list. So anyway, I wanted to share some things that really get me going. Number one, let's start off with the midnight balloon drop. So Royal Caribbean started adding balloon drops certainly before the cruise industry shutdown of 2020. I don't recall exactly what year it was. Let's say it was 2017, 2018. It really doesn't matter. But if you go on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship these days, when you board the ship, you will probably see a lot of balloons strung along the Royal Promenade at the very top. And it looks really cool because who doesn't love a balloon drop? Except for me, of course. But when you go on these ships and you see them, it's very enticing. People want to do. Heck, my kids want to do them. But having done the midnight balloon drop a couple times now, it's just not for me. So what happens is essentially at midnight, usually on the first day of the cruise, they drop all these balloons on the promenade. It's kind of like a New Year's Eve type celebration. They don't count down like Happy New Year, but they certainly will have a party on the promenade and then the balloons drop. Cool. Except for the fact that it's just overrated in my opinion. I get it. There are a lot of balloons and I get it that it falls on your head. It's kind of a cool thing. Maybe this is just me being jaded, entirely possible. But I will never do those again because it's just a lot of people standing around waiting for the balloons to drop. The balloons then drop. And then what does everybody do? Start popping them. And it gets really loud. And on top of that, it's just not my jam. Like I did it. I thought it was okay. But I really don't see the appeal of it, quite frankly. It's just not something that I want to take time out. And not to mention the fact that it is held at midnight, which means that my kids want to stay up and do it, which means that they're not getting enough sleep the next morning. That's a parent thing more than anything. But if it was earlier in the evening, maybe I could see my way past it, but I don't know. It's a neat idea, I guess, on the surface, but in practice, I'm not a big fan of the balloon drop. Number two, dance parties. All right, so if you go on a cruise, there are going to be dance parties on your ship, and there have been dance parties for decades. So I freely admit this is definitely another Matt being Matt kind of thing, and not necessarily a problem if you want to go. If you love dancing, more power to you. I wish you the best with that. I personally just think they're a complete waste of time because I don't enjoy them. And really what I'm talking about are probably two types of dance parties. The first are the Royal Promenade dance parties. Usually 70s dance parties or 80s dance parties, which you'll find on the promenade. Depending on your cruise length, you may have one or both of these in the promenade. And when these occur, basically the cruise director team gets on the Royal Promenade. They start blasting the music of that genre, in this case the 70s or 80s. And they play all the music and people stand around and dance. The problem I have with it is that it's loud and it just stops everything in its path. So obviously being a dance party on the promenade, they got to blast that music. This isn't music that you're being performed in a certain venue. Like if you're in the pub or the Schooner Bar or a theater, the music can be less loud because the acoustics of that work better. But this is the Royal Promenade. This extends from one end of the ship to the other end of the ship. And they got to make sure that the music can be heard on every single inch of that promenade, and so they blast the music. That's number one. Number two, it stops everything else that's happening in the promenade. If you're having a great time in the pub, enjoying the pub singer there, or you're over at Playmakers watching the game, everything comes to a stop. The pub singer will stop performing. In Playmakers, they'll still continue showing the games on TV, but good luck hearing anything. It's just in your way. It's not like there's a dance party or an event happening in another venue, that doesn't impact your ability to enjoy the performances or entertainment in another venue. But in the case of the promenade, it absolutely does. And it clogs up the whole promenade, especially if you want to get something from maybe Cafe Promenade, or you simply want to get from one end of the promenade to another end of the promenade in order to commute. It's just annoying more than anything, and it just gets in the way. And I simply, number one, I'm not getting up there to sing and dance around. It's just not my thing. And even if it's not just the dancing aspect of it, again, freely admit, I'm not the world's biggest dancer by any stretch of the imagination, but I just feel like it's just too much in the way and blocking other things and people from happening or going, however you want to look at it. So that is number 2 on my list. Number 3, and listen, I appreciate the cruise director on Royal Caribbean Cruise Ships. I think they do a great job. But watching the morning show has definitely gone on my list of things that I hate that everybody else seems to love. I appreciate what the morning show tries to do. If you've been on a cruise ship, the morning show is a show on your TV screen that's hosted by the cruise director, and they usually walk through what's happening throughout the day. They go through the cruise compass. They'll talk about the different events. They'll talk about maybe the ports you're visiting and the hours there. They'll probably highlight a drink that you can have on, and maybe a special giveaway or a deal the spa's offering or something like that. Back in the day, I remember watching them a lot, and now I just can't be bothered to ever turn on. Quite frankly, I forget it's even a thing on there. But every time I turn it on in the morning, maybe we're having kind of a lazier morning, getting ready, and kids need some more time, so I'll turn on the TV, put it on there to see what they're talking about. And essentially, it's not only just a rehash of the, cruise compass itself, or the app schedule, I should probably say at this point, but it's just not that exciting. It's not that interesting, and it doesn't give me a whole lot of value out of it that I couldn't get out of the app. I think, quite frankly, it's probably aimed at maybe some new cruisers out there as opposed to maybe someone like me. But it just comes off as contrived, and it's a little been there, done that, and it just doesn't have quite the je ne sais quoi that makes you really want to watch it or get anything out of it other than just simply having it on in the background. And it's better than, I guess, the rando music they have on the weather channel that they have over there. I don't know. I just find that while a lot of people do appreciate that morning show and actually like it, and some cruise directors are admittedly a lot better at doing it than others, I've just kind of written it off at this point, because while a lot of people do enjoy the morning show, it's just not for me. Next on my list are the sales on the promenade. This I have never understood, but if you're on the Royal Promenade, or sometimes even on a cruise ship that has a Centrum in it, they will do sales throughout the cruise, meaning at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll see tables set up in the promenade selling various things. It could be watches, it could be liquor, it could be jewelry, it could be accessories. There's always something happening every day, and they kind of make a big deal about it. Sometimes you'll see the crew members actually handing out tickets or promoting the fact that there will be a sale. They even go to the length sometimes of draping cloth over the stations because they don't want to give away what's being sold. Now, number one, it's the same stuff that's being sold in the stores otherwise. Maybe sometimes they have a little extra inventory they can't put on their store shelves, but it's the same stuff. Number two, I have not done any research into this, but I don't think the prices are any better than they are any other time. I mean, maybe the t-shirt, 2 for $20 sale kind of thing, maybe you get a better deal on it. Although most of those t-shirts are always just, very generic, and I'm not sure anybody really gets that excited about them. The bottom line is, while there are clearly a lot of people who like these sales, because when you walk the promenade, there are plenty of other guests who are standing there lining up, waiting for their stuff. And I can see that maybe they're looking for a deal, or they're just simply looking to shop or do something. But I will never do these things ever again. I think we've done it once or twice, and every time I'm like, boy, what a waste. If I just come back another time, I can buy this same stuff later on. Never mind the idea that, when they drape the cloth over it and they make it into this kind of exclusive reveal, that's just a little too much for me. And I don't think, quite frankly, it's warranted, because I really don't think there's that much of a quote unquote sale discount going on. I think it's just the same stuff going on there. Anyway, I just have written that off. And the last thing I've done, and I'm not sure everyone loves this one, so I'm put this on my list, but I'm going to put a caveat that maybe not everybody loves this also, and that are the art auctions. I've talked about this in the past before on our YouTube videos. So on your Royal Caribbean cruise, there will be an art auction during your sailing. This is an opportunity for you to go bid on various pieces of artwork. Usually you can see this art around your ship somewhere. There's usually a venue, depending on which ship you're on. It could be on a hallway, it could be in an open atrium. Regardless, this is an opportunity for you to look at this art and then possibly bid on it in an auction style and, win it. Now, the problem I have with the art auctions is, well, number one, is the reputation. Art auctions for years, I say years, I'm talking decades, have had a really bad reputation with basically, people go into these art auctions, they place the bid, they win the bid, and then there's a lot of red tape and caveats they weren't aware of. Things like the fact that you don't actually take that piece home with you. That's just a showpiece. What's going to happen is they're going to ship it to you. And in many cases, the shipping times take quite a while. Number two, the art auction you're bidding on is purely the piece of art, not the frame or anything like that. So that's going to be an extra cost almost certainly that you're going to want to get on there, because who wants a piece of art without a frame on it? And then lastly is the idea that a lot of times they talk about the valuations. Oh, this piece of art will grow in value, or it's worth something. In many cases, I think it's overinflated and someone's opinion, not necessarily representative of what you can really expect in terms of valuation. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with buying nice pieces of art on your cruise. I actually have at least one or two pieces of art that we have purchased while on a cruise ship to bring home. But those pieces of art we also bought in port, not on the ship at an art auction. And number two, most importantly, we bought them because I thought it would look pretty on our wall, not because I thought I was investing in the next Picasso by any means. So there's that aspect to it. But really, I think the fact that they kind of don't talk about the ideas of how long it's going to take and some of the issues that you have with actually getting the art, it just rubs me the wrong way personally. I know there are some people that really do love the art auctions, and more power to them. And there is free champagne there during the art auction. So hey, free alcohol on a cruise ship is never something to look bad upon. But the downsides of the art auction are something that is a reason why I really don't like that at all. And the last thing on my list is something that I don't know why people still go to these things, but the magicians and jugglers on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship are a hard pass every single time. So Royal Caribbean is well known for its entertainment on its ships, and deservedly so, by the way. Their original production shows, full Broadway shows, they're really impressive. I actually do see those all the time. But if on the schedule it says magician, juggler, ventriloquist, I cannot pass that up fast enough, because every single time they're always cringy and just not worthwhile. Now listen, this is based, I think, in the fact that historically, cruise ships have had that Las Vegas style entertainment there, and ventriloquists and magicians are part of that tradition of Las Vegas style entertainment. That being said, I feel like in so many cases, these type of shows on cruise ships are usually not exactly, the top performers in their fields, to put it gently. And number two, they're not entertaining. Number three, I always roll my eyes at them. And number four, my time is wasted, quite frankly, over there. I would much rather do almost anything else, even the dance parties. I would rather go to a dance party than I would go see a magician or a juggler or anything like this on a cruise ship. Again, maybe I'm jaded, maybe I have no soul, entirely possible, but I will never, ever, ever waste more time on a cruise ship seeing these shows. It is definitely something that I absolutely hate, that I recognize a lot of their families really do love. So there you have a couple different things that I hate, I guess, on a cruise ship that a lot of other people love. And if you appreciate those things, more power to you. I am glad that you enjoy those things. Hopefully, within this video, you got a couple of ideas for things you won't do yourself. Or if I missed one, let me know in the comments below, because I would love to hear about that. While you're down below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know of a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.